Tech Week,
Yeah.
and we'll be talking about some AR, some what
AI,
AI, some
some
what's new,
Ubuntu.
what's up,
Mhm.
Ubuntu versus Windows versus Mac, what's up? So yeah, jump on and please, we want to know what you're thinking. And we got a guest today, Olori Lalade. I think they are Doctor Olori.
Man, you better get it right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, I would ask. They're about to jump in about 30 minutes, so we're gonna have to get into our what's up and keep it efficient. But I'm
Wait,
gonna
before we
send
do
some
that,
invites. Hmm?
are we grateful for anything? Can we quickly go through our greetings and gratitude?
True that.
Yeah,
Oh man,
let's do
you
it.
almost forgot.
Listen, every day I'm hustling. I gotta snag that. Oh
Dun, dun,
man,
dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
gotta
dun, dun,
snag it.
dun, dun,
'Cause
dun, dun, dun.
see, and we about to make it a whole meme. Oh man, it's gonna be a meme.
Oh
Yep.
man,
There it is. All right, what we grateful for? What's going on? What's
I'm
popping?
grateful for tech. I've been spending my last couple of days working on different builds, and I had a client who needed some upgrades, and I got to bring back the old parts, and so I'm not refurbishing them, but like repurposing the machines to do different, to serve my purposes now because they got the upgrade, they didn't need the previous one, so I was like, all right, I'll take it off your hands. So yeah, I'm grateful for tech.
Nice.
So now I got an extra computer at the house, so we good.
Nice. How many? What's the count? I mean, I don't, if you don't
We are
mind
at
asking.
four right now, but it's gonna be soon. It's gonna be three at the house and one in the data center.
Oh man, we just need peanut butter. I'm so jelly. I'm so jelly. Jeez. Goals. That's what's up.
Oh
Thankful
man,
for tech.
it is. I would not say it's a goal. I spend way too much money on this stuff. I don't know. It's
But
like
you love it and it's your thing. So you're entitled to. See, we're gonna talk about that today too. Like there's and you don't feel bad for spending money. I mean, listen, I don't feel bad for that. People
I do
spending
too.
money on other very horrible things.
That's true.
Like, you
That's
know,
true.
and it's not to compare. We don't compare suffering, but it is to say, yeah, that is something to be grateful for. You get to do what you love and you get to invest in it. You get to improve on the skills. That's what's up. For
Absolutely.
real, for
What are
real.
you grateful for? We gonna say
That
symbolic for last.
was a maniacal laugh.
Oh man.
Oh man. So I'm grateful to actually be here a little bit on time. I'm super excited about talking to Dr. Olori. She literally, y'all, I sent her a Substack post of mine and she responded and was like, "This is so captivating and funny." And that's like it's just like when y'all be big up to me on the music. It's like, oh my God, I'm all cheese. So I'm super excited to talk to her. Um, and just learn more about this new art fest that they're doing. But yeah, grateful to connect with the folks who get it. That's what I'm grateful for today. Wait, symbolic scorn less, that means Black
That
Simon is
means
next. Oh no,
Yeah,
we have
sorry,
one,
sorry,
two.
sorry.
Oh,
I'm here.
okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm grateful for family. Family. Ooh, we lost somebody. Visuals. I'm grateful for family. Canadian Thanksgiving was just this past Monday, and chilling with the fam, doing our own thing. We were in different rooms, but we together. We had some meals. It was kind of nice. We chatted a bit. Of course, current politics is my family's sports, so we don't watch sports except for my brother, but we watch the news and we watch, you know, uh, current events around the world. So yeah, it was nice to just chill and talk about, building and the progress that is happening all over the world in other countries, and it was a little hopeful, which was nice. So yeah,
Very
I'm thankful
nice.
for family and family
Yeah.
gatherings.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful for y'all telling me it was Thanksgiving in Canada. Like, what? This American problems, I swear. Glad y'all have fun. Okay, symbolic, it sounds like it's your turn.
I
Symbolic.
am. Oh, I'm grateful that I caught that typo. Probably still have a typo in here because I'm trying to do two things at once in this invitation for people to jump on. Uh, Sending the Twitch link out firstly to the BSAM fam. I am grateful for, well, we had our Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm grateful that we are in another country from y'all. Not y'all personally, but what y'all have going on. I was talking with my mom earlier, and it just always comes up. And it's just like we're just too close. We've reaped the benefits. I know this. Like I've thought about when the first time dude was around, it was like, why don't we just do business with other people? Then you realize what superpower means. And like Canada just reaped benefits, but now it's not the benefit time. It's like you're right next door to some crazy shit. But we got you when you want to get that sprint going, IV produced, and roll through, grab Rashanis and fam and roll up north.
I'm
You know what I
on my
mean?
way. I'm on my
We will
way.
be receiving you at the border, being like, they're cool, they're cool, they're with us. Yeah, man. So, I mean, yeah, I'm grateful though. Honestly, I found a podcast, quick fast. I'm gonna let us go into this other thing, but this is about the shitification of the internet. So, as we're talking
Oh
about tech,
man.
maybe we'll be able to get into it. It's an amazing assessment of what I lived through as far as tech being designed to hook the people, and then they switch it over to be able to just focus on making money off of businesses at the people's expense, and then switching it up and being like it's all about me. The tech, there's a word, tech feudalism. And so I checked this podcast. I'll tell you more about it later. I'll share it with y'all. But it's kind of from a Canadian perspective. So we've got all the same lessons, but it's like Canadians, here's what we can do. And I don't know, we're a little really tight, but I am hopeful. For example, our healthcare is different, our education is different. So us being over here, I'll wrap it up with hopefully we can hold on over here until y'all switch things up, and hopefully we can go in a positive direction. Then we can be thankful for a brighter future. But yeah, I'm grateful to be Canadian right now.
So do y'all just be like, "Hey, mom," and she be like, "What's up?" Symbolic. She don't call you symbolic, but yeah, he be like, "Aren't you just grateful not to be American?" And she's like, "Yes, I am." Is that how it goes?
No, we're like, yo, did you see that news? Oh my God, that's wild. And then it's like, yeah, we're a little too close for comfort though.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all not grateful
There's
to
a
not
lot
be
of
American.
subtext. You just get it. It's like Canadians all, you don't have to say much. We're like, yeah, we're really, really close to the madness.
I mean, I'm still stuck on. I'm sorry, I had to tune back in shitification. I
Oh
need you
man,
to
that
spell
caught
that
me.
for
That caught
Yeah.
me
me.
too. That caught me too. I
That
was like,
whole
the
process.
in
Yeah, if you
shitification.
look
I
it up, you'll
see.
find stuff,
Oh, so that's an
including,
actual word,
yeah, it's a
Oh yeah, yeah,
journal.
yeah.
Yeah.
like a
Canadian
dictionary
What I
word.
did.
Is
Hmm?
it? I don't believe
No,
you.
no, no. That's North American.
what the what? Okay, I've been sleeping clearly. And shitification. What?
Yeah, it's
In
a good example.
shitification. Oh, it's slang though.
It's
Yeah. Okay. True.
it's 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 a good example is I don't know if you buy cookies. Let's say cookies. If you bought cookies maybe 10, 15 years ago, you used to get 4 rows, and now you get three
Or
rows.
Sorry, G,
cookies.
Get
no,
this?
no. It's specific to tech. It was coined specific to tech. But it's
No,
similar.
no. It's the enshittification is across all products.
Okay. Well, the person who coined it is what I'm going with. But anyways, what let's
So wait.
w-
I just want use. Come on. This is really my thing. So G, back
what
to
I
your
described, by the
example.
way. It's the fact that they'll be focused on the users in, like I said, tech, the users, and making a product that hooks people, sticky as they say. And then next, moving to focusing on the business at the expense of the users. And then, even at the expense of the business, now it's all about maximal benefit. And that's where they went into this tech feudalism discussion, or print. They brought this up as in, now that they have everyone hooked, they're so powerful, in fact, that they can have us like serfs in this digital land where they're exploiting our riches and we have no choice. So one of the things they mentioned as Canadians is that they should do, by the way, we don't get American news on Facebook because they said our journalists should make money and they cut it. And
Wait,
so in
what?
that discussion, this particular on I forgot what the name
Wait,
of it. I'll
hold on.
tell you later.
Wait, say what? Say that again.
We
You don't get
don't get
American news on
news
Facebook because of what?
because the
So,
Canadian government passed a law. Gee, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was whenever you say shitification, I want to clarify. I always think of shrinkflation. Those are two things. They're separate but very linked. And I think I
Shrimpflation?
was thinking of shrinkflation, and I was
Oh,
talking about
shrinkflation.
shrinkflation. But
Mm.
yes, in terms of the meta and what you were talking about, Facebook, there was a law, a proposed law. It never got passed. In fact, actually, it did get passed, but actually, Mark Carney, our prime minister, said he would not enforce the law. So yes, Kay, we actually are getting American news now, and they have backed down from that whole entire, because we were, as a Canadian, as the Canadian government was saying, basically Facebook, Google, and other companies were taking Canadian. Let's say we have our national news network, which you guys don't have a kind of counterpart, but closely would be, I guess, PBS. They were taking news articles from CBC, which is a Canadian broadcasting. I don't know what to see here, um, and putting it on their websites and not paying any of the people who are producing that content and then selling ads on top of it. So, like, Facebook would sell ads on a CBC article, and CBC wasn't getting any of that money.
Oh, true.
So
Sounds
they were
about right.
saying, "Hey, it's a Canadian company that's producing the content, and you're literally making money off of a Canadian company. We can't tax it." So it was kind of like a digital tax for Canadian content in Canada. And actually, we gave that up because of the tariff thing. So,
So right now, I do remember that they said they're not going to collect because the time, maybe a different thing. Anyways, they said that they're not going to collect on funds that they would have. But anyways, that said, you're telling me that right now, Facebook, you do see news again on Facebook products.
they can publish without any of the issues. And Google
No,
certainly now is
no.
reporting.
Very specifically, Facebook said you can't publish this. You can't put this. Sorry, I'm reading. You cannot. Like if you tried to post something that looked like news or your organization was news, Facebook said no. You know that. Gee, you know that.
Uh, if you posted something that is news related,
Yeah, they blocked it. They said you can't
hmm,
post news in this country. Because I was like, that is crazy. And in fact, on the same
oh,
podcast about
oh, sorry, that's new.
shitification,
That's that's
this
news.
woman that was describing what happened, she was like the person in her town who'd always share, and there were wildfires. And just at that
That's
moment when they were
what the.
evacuating, they're like, no news. And so imagine, like, that's some reckless.
It does, and it speaks to everything we've talked about. I could totally see that censorship of the news in other countries. I know as I travel, again, there's no cutoff. Like I had to literally use Instagram to kind of gauge what my social circle was talking about. Does that make sense? And because social media has changed, where you're not following individuals per se, it's feeding you more and more of what you're interested in. That's how I would get an idea of what's going on in America, because otherwise there was no way for me to get it. But it speaks to the monetization. It's going back to the capitalism part, where because mainstream media is dying and because that's the way that, you can be controlled, and this propaganda continues to just, ugh. Yeah, now it's okay, we have to keep making money. And if we can't, then not even if we can't, we're going to censor everybody else. So this is why, the platforms like Substack and everything we've been talking about in the Fifth Estate is so important,
Yeah.
because fake news is everywhere. Go ahead.
Yeah, this gets into on TikTok specifically, during the whole Portland, as it's continuing on. Portland is not a place you can tag right now on TikTok. So if you're living in Portland, you can't tag Portland as a place.
Okay.
So that if someone's searching for Portland, they can't see what's actually going on, because the U.S. government wants not, and now it's being controlled by Larry Ellison, which owns Oracle. And this is your shitification. TikTok was brought on as a social media thing, connecting people, being able to see everything that's going on in different areas and you being able to follow it. But now you can't follow what's going on in Portland. And the president of the United States is saying Portland's on fire. So how would I, as a user, I don't know anybody in Portland or don't watch the news, which the mainstream news doesn't really report on what's going on, you can't really tell that he's not saying something that's true or false, right? He's saying Portland's burning down, but Portland isn't burning down.
See, even with this is so spot on, and I'm telling you all, this is where, we have to bring the solutions, even with the massive cuts with public radio, right? So you think in terms of transmission, okay, so what other choices do we have to transmit these urgent, this is actual news.
Yeah.
North, east, west, south, like it's actual news. With public radio being defunded, this is why, not to pat ourselves on the back, but this is why we do what we do, because it's critical for us to bring real. And as we'll talk about today, with the advent and the emergence of just so much AI, just stuff, podcasts, like everywhere you go, determining and differentiating between what's real and what's fake is gonna be a skill everyone needs.
True that. Big
Everybody.
time.
Seriously. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And hey, we have 8 minutes, like officially, if our guest, by the way, Olori from Noir Press, so you definitely can go do your reading up. They've got great publications.
Very good. Stellar.
Yeah. And Noir Fest, which is coming up. So we'll get the details on that. But for
Yes.
now, what's up? What's up?
You know what? The first story is probably not good. So,
yikes! Give it to us.
So, first off, we're going to talk a little bit about AR. I know this is something close to symbolic, and probably IV. He's probably in AR right now. IV, are you in?
I'm in MR, mixed reality.
MR, mixed reality. Okay, so AR, if people don't know what AR is, AR is augmented reality, which just means that you can see the world around you with an overlay, or
imagine seeing the battlefield.
Y'all can
I
hear that?
thought that was me.
Y'all weren't supposed to be able to hear that. Oh,
um, you can see the world around you, but you can also see a layer of the a computerized layer or video or images of the digital world. So, and what he is doing right now is mixed reality, which is kind of a little bit of VR, virtual reality, and AR.
and there, yup.
Uh, so right now, you can buy the first iteration in North America, which is the Meta Ray-Ban display, not to be confused with the Meta Ray-Bans, which was just audio and mics. These ones actually have a display in just one side, so they're mono-ocular. And that will give you a vision, a little screen that you sits in the right-hand corner of your vision, and you get all kinds of information. That can be your kind of where you are, and if you need directions, it can also take pictures and video, and you can see the video and the pictures. Um, and also, they have WhatsApp, which is what a lot of people use, including myself, to chat with. So you can get a little WhatsApp screen. So you can be walking down the street without a phone in your hand, without anybody uh, seeing what you're looking at, and you can be literally in a chat. The other really cool part about the Meta Ray Bans are they have, I can't remember what the name of the original company is. There's a wristband that allows you to do the interaction. So a lot of people
Mhm.
say, well, how do I move around in virtual space or AR? You have this wristband that goes around your arm, kind of like a watch band, and that will allow you to manipulate menus, again, without anybody knowing what you're doing or seeing, which is really, really powerful. It can be used for good, and then now we're going to slip over into the bad part. So Meta Ray Ban originally was an offshoot from Meta's Oculus, if everyone remember that came out. Oculus was originally started by a guy named Palmer Luckey. Palmer Luckey is the guy who basically started Oculus, and then he was bought out by Facebook, aka Meta. And now he's gone on to build military systems. Um, he has a drone company that makes basically shoots down drones. And now his newest thing is called Eagle Eye, which is AR. And we're gonna get if you could show the picture of the headset, Ivy, that would be great.
Uh,
Uh,
sure.
so they are integrating it into the military, and this is we talked about this. We've seen this in movies a lot. Um, you know, about an AR or augmented reality headset, and that's it right there. So if you notice that he's wearing some sort of sensors on top of his head helmet, and then there are some cameras, it looks like just over his vision, and then he's wearing the glasses. That's a suite of systems and sensors so that he can see regularly, but he's also getting overlays of information. And now there's a short video that will just talk about what um, this headset kind of is and what it looks like. Got that queued up, I
Uh,
think.
1 second. My computer's probably about to freeze.
Okay. Well,
Uh-oh.
the crazy thing about this is so the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses are the consumer or I guess citizens, people,
Yeah.
the people can
Right.
buy the product, and this kind of shrub or a bush. Um, but we're going to see that in just a second as soon as he plays the video. Anyone else have any questions
Uh,
about this tech?
Yeah, quickly, you know what? Is there a rear view at all? Because I'm just wondering if those two sensors at the top of the helmet are straight
Yes.
through. Okay.
So one of the interesting things, and we'll see in the video, one of the interesting is, yes, you have the video from the helmet. You can also have the video from reverse. You can
Yeah.
also have the video from another drone, or you can have the video from other people around you to give
That's
you
tight.
Wow.
more information. Not to mention, like, you're also being fed all of the information in your environment, right? So
So
he's going to play this.
war tech contracts. That's all I want to say. Go ahead. Please
Yeah,
proceed.
it's
Field
it's
like Iron Man, Andrew unveiled Eagle Eye, a next-gen AI and AR system that plugs straight into a soldier's helmet. With it, soldiers can see squad mates' locations, mission plans, rear and flank cameras, and even digital night vision, all through a transparent, high-resolution.
Why does Switzerland put
Imagine seeing the battlefield like Iron Man. Andrew unveiled Eagle Eye, a next-gen AI and AR system that plugs straight into a soldier's helmet. With it, soldiers can see squad mates' locations, mission plans, rear and flank cameras, and even digital night vision, all through a transparent, high-resolution heads-up display. Eagle Eye pulls in rear and flank view cameras, RF signature detection, and other sensors. That combination can reveal hidden threats and give a see-through wall style awareness. It's not just sight though. Eagle Eye lets troops control drones and robotic teammates directly from their helmet while staying mobile in the fight. So this isn't just science fiction anymore. Andrew calls it the future of warfare, where soldiers don't just fight with weapons, they fight with data. Imagine seeing the battlefield like Iron Man. Andrew unveiled Eagle Eye, a next-gen AI and AR system that plugs straight into.
Yikes.
But not like we need it though. Well,
Indeed.
well, I got my own thoughts about like conflict and war and everything, but like in a sense, we do need this technology.
No, we're going to talk about it, but our guest has joined because I'm like, yeah, we going in on this. We going ham.
Once you stand there, people, once you get the energy that's still there, can I get a witness? Yeah. Those who witness, the energy is still there.
Guest has joined.
Yes.
Welcome.
welcome.
How y'all doing?
We are well. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I am blessed. I am grateful. Love what y'all are doing here.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Love what
Why,
you're doing.
thank you. Yeah, for sure. Like, do you want to introduce yourself or should we get all cheesy and, oh my gosh, he's here? Like, what do you want to do?
I can keep it simple. I could do a quick introduction. I'm Olori Lalade, founder of NoirLabs, creator of Portal X. NoirLabs was created to inspire and operationalize Black liberation through art, tech, and community building. NoirPress is our media platform. NoirFest is our traveling film festival, curating the finest aspirational Black films from across the globe. And Portal X is your digital life coach to your best life. And so our whole thing is about liberating the planet from within, starting with Black folks, and just doing our part. Obviously, it's a collective effort for all of us as the masses. And so I'm a technologist, I'm an artist, I'm a creative. And so I work at the intersection of like storytelling, data, beauty, software development. I don't code as much these days, but I work really closely with my dev team as building Portal X. And hopefully soon I won't have to do that as much either. So that's my
Very
little bit
nice.
in a nutshell.
Nice. Oh my gosh. So you should just be right at home with us. So now for all of us who are watching and tuning in, we understand why I was so giddy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm glad Symbolic reached out. I'm glad to have you.
Thank
We
you
are
so much.
excited
Yes,
too.
thank you for the invite. I'm really honored. I appreciate it.
Thank you
For sure,
for
especially
accepting. Yes. Go ahead, Rashawn.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, especially because everything that you just ran through, everything that you are, and everything that you represent is everything we're about. When Noir Press, by the way, if you guys haven't experienced, yeah, you what are you doing with your life? Just stop it now. But as part No, seriously, it's so good. Like I have
Yeah.
catching up to do, and I'm going to catch up. I tried
Mm.
to, as best I could, as catch up last week, but yeah, I have catching up to do. It's really, really good. So now that you've explained all of what you and your team do, it makes sense to pull it in on the site. But when I discovered Noir Fest today, it was one big mind blown emoji. Like, oh, how can I get to Connecticut? Like, it was bad. So we want to talk about it because we're there's a segment a little bit later because this is Yo Tech Checkup where we're going to go into operating systems. So Mac versus Windows versus Linux, which is Ubuntu. So when I saw what I saw on Noir Fest, like we're already talking about the things, what's going on in
Synchronicity.
Canada all day.
Mhm.
It's Afrofuture magic. Like this is what we do. So we want to talk about it. We want to talk about Noir Press, Noir Fest, all the things in between. What can you tell us?
What can I tell you? Lord have mercy. I always start my story with Malcolm X and Jesus and watching Malcolm X as an 8-year-old and being so like enthralled and captivated. And I don't know if y'all remember the last, the last couple scenes, the montage of all the African children saying, I am Malcolm X, I am Malcolm X. I had just arrived from Nigeria by way of London, within a year before seeing that movie. So I was very influenced by it, and I didn't realize that that's what did it until like maybe last year. I was like, it must have been that montage, like it got me. Um, but I just found myself as somebody who people just expected to like start shit. People just expected, somebody gave me Malcolm X's autobiography. One of my closest friends gave me his autobiography in high school. My parents had us watching, they're Nigerian immigrants, but they had us watching Eyes on the Prize. And I remember watching Roots and just all these things that just really got me like very radicalized. And I did computer science undergrad, just kind of, not really what I wanted to do, but what seemed like the right thing to do for my parents. Um, and after I was out of college, I just started learning through, you know, I don't know, like people would just bring me books about Thomas Sankara and, just like all this revolutionary stuff. And I just did like a PhD, independent PhD on revolution, and social change and what it takes to actually deliver like sustained social change. I read about all these different people from Che to Mandela to, just Asada. I mean, just the Panther Party, just so many. I was just enthralled. This is like my early 20s, right out of college. I was just enthralled by the history of revolution, and I just would find myself trying to figure out, like, and in communities, activist organizations I was part of, it was just trying to figure out, like, what is the thing that would actually work so we're not doing this every generation, right? What is the thing? Like, what do we actually need? What do we need to do differently? Like, what can we add to the gumbo, to the mixture? Like, all the things, like, there's a lot that's already been done and it's all been important because it's gotten us closer and closer to, that next world. Um, and so for me, what kind of came up in that, so this is, I'm doing this in my early 20s in Brooklyn with like Malcolm X grassroots movement and also like going to like my Pentecostal Nigerian Caribbean church. And I just remember being like, it was just two different worlds. It was like the activists were like, you're stupid if you believe in Jesus. And the Christians were like, all that stuff is fetish. So and I just remember standing in my kitchen one day and feeling like Jesus was talking to me and being like, yeah, like if you look at everything that I did, I came for the niggas. I came for the oppressed people. I was here to serve, the marginalized. Um, and so I think that moment, so it's like the Malcolm X montage and like that moment in my kitchen in Brooklyn, I was just like, oh, okay, I think I know like why I'm here. And so my journey has just been about like trying to articulate what liberation can look and feel like, what it should be, where it should come from. We work from this sort of mantra at Nora Labs of liberation from within, right? The idea that I've come to fundamentally believe that true liberation is a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual gift, right? I don't think you have to be Christian to get, to be liberated. I'm just getting off the phone with a friend who we're always having these debates between like Abrahamic religion and like, indigenous tradition. And, I've just come to a particular understanding that allows me to experience like the personal intimacy that I experience with like the divine presence that supports me and looks out for me and that I know is real, while also holding space for how that shows up for somebody else. And so liberation from is just this framework of like you have to first know that you are valuable. You have to know, like as Black folks especially, nobody's really inculcating us with that at a level that we need, right? Like it's a rare gift if you have parents or community that give you that gift. So we have to know our value, right? And that is how we can know that we actually like are worthy of liberation and that liberation is possible for us, and it doesn't have to just be this sort of abstract concept that like will be for, this thing that's always in the future that we always have to fight for. Like our identity becomes fighting. So I've been trying to figure out how do we make our identity about liberation and joy and freedom and being like, all that time I was studying that history and looking at Sheikh Anta Diop, and I'm like, we created all this stuff and y'all disrespecting us? Like, that's kind of my attitude. Like, and so that's where the film comes. I'm taking the longest way to answer your question, but yes, this is where the film festival emerges. This is where a media platform emerges. This is where Portal X emerges, because it's like, okay, we have to first see the possibilities, right? And so the film festival emerged from like in Brooklyn, I had a Yoruba Cultural Institute, founded with my late ex-ish husband, my daughter's father. And, we taught the language, we taught the culture, and we started to do films because we knew that film was like a powerful cultural transmitter, right? So it's like you're trying to learn a language, you need quality films that you can actually get into that are, that are in that language. And so the article that you saw about Kunle Afolayan, he's one of those first filmmakers that I saw, and I was like, we can make quality films out of Nigeria? Because everything I had seen before that was, much lower quality, right? Well, Sophia in London, I often big up. We're going to release our list of everything we've screened on the site very soon. But, there are older projects that are quality production for their time period, but they're so few and far between in Nollywood, right, in the Nigerian landscape. And so at that time, I was trying to curate films for people who were learning Yoruba, who had grown up in the States. A lot of these were New Yorkers or had grown up in the Caribbean. This was like folks from here, from the Caribbean, who wanted to learn the language. And so I was like, these films got to come correct. You're not going to really, sit here and watch somebody with their arms inside their shirt pretending like they lost their arms, right? Like you need like a quality production. And so it was really hard to find those top quality productions. And so it was very few artists or filmmakers like Tade Ogidon, like Tunde Kalani, and Kunle Afolayan, I guess would be the most recent sort of generation of that lineage of Yoruba filmmakers, I would say, and Nigerian filmmakers. But yeah, we had the Yoruba film series, and then it became the Nollywood Diaspora film series. We had an event with Studio Museum in Harlem. This was like 2013. It's been a while. And then 2014 was the first time I met Kunle and brought him from Nigeria to show his film October 1. And so that was in partnership with NYU. And we had a number of like 5 films that weekend. And it just became a thing where it was clear to me that people were so hungry for this, but it was very expensive to do on my sister's credit card, not make money, right? And so I knew that I was working in tech at the time, and I was like, okay, I have to figure out a way to do all of these things, like sort of create all these types of offerings and let them play off of each other and actually make money, right? And when I decided to go to grad school, it was kind of like, going to grad school to build your venture in a sense, right? Like I knew that I wanted a PhD. I knew that I wanted to create a body of work for Black folks and for, marginalized folks to be able to like understand and activate and access liberation. But I also recognize that like grad school can be a really great like testing ground for business ideas. And so this was like 2016, I guess. I had taken my GRE years before. My GRE score was about to expire. It's like fall of 2016. Spirit is on my case, Holy Spirit is on my case about applying to grad school. It's something I've been kicking down the pike for years at this point.
I'm so
And
sorry to interrupt you. What's GRE? You have some Canadians up in here.
oh, my bad. Because
It's
I'm like, I could just keep
universal.
talking. Y'all just let me talk.
No,
GRE, I don't remember what it stands for. I think it's like graduate record exam or something. It's like the test you got to
It's the
take to get into
exam.
grad
Yeah.
school.
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No, don't
Yeah.
let me
So it,
interrupt. Please, please. This is
no, I
beautiful.
don't,
Context.
I,
Mhm.
thank you. I'm trying to remember how long the score is. It's like you take your GRE and then the score is like good for like 3 years or something. This is how it was back then. I don't know what. So my GRE score was getting ready to expire. My whole, my spirit was on my case about like just apply to grad school. So I did. So I finally applied to like Yale in, fall of 2016 and got into the master's. And I found a lot of support at the university for my venture ideas in classes in, the Sci-City. I always talk about Sci-City, Center for Innovative Thinking at Yale. And there was a Nigerian who I will always shout out, Onyeka Obiocha, who understood what I was trying to do. It was like the first time I went to Sci-City, there, nobody really got it. It was like one old Black man, who was, just very much the academy. And then maybe some months later, this like young Nigerian guy ends up on their staff, and I get to go talk to him, and he just gets it, and he's very supportive, and whatever sort of grants I apply for, whatever programming I want to do, they were super supportive, and so I got to test out a lot of things. I mean, the sort of the Yale version of NoirFest was the Yale Africa Film Festival, and so we believe it's the first African film festival. There might have been one that existed before, but we haven't been able to find a record of it. But yeah, we were able to bring like 3 filmmakers from the continent, show some films, have dialogue, and just kind of like, I think my superpower in this context is the curation. It is really the ability to identify, particular quality aesthetic, quality of writing, quality of production and performance, and to really like elevate what is rich in the story, like what is valuable in the story, in the artwork of the film or whatever is being presented. And so I got to do that for 2 years with Yale. So the second year, I came back from Cambridge actually to run the second Yale Africa Film Festival, in which that was kind of how we launched the NoirFest, right? And so that was like the first sort of capsule NoirFest. We had one day that was for NoirFest programming and one day that was just Yale Africa Film Festival programming. So I just shout out to Council of African Studies at Yale because they were very, very supportive of everything I wanted to do.
And may I ask, what was the
And
program in your specific area of study in that?
I did a master's in African Studies.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
At
Okay.
Yale, I did a master's in African Studies. At Cambridge, I started a PhD in sociology. My topic was to be world making through cultural production. I left a little early. I may or may not, I have some ideas about how I might complete the PhD, but yeah, that's
Nice. So that was where you started in that environment. It sounds like you're very grateful, and I can say, I did a lot of life things and then went back to the schooling. And I thought that it was just getting the piece of paper, but there are certain other things that what your story kind of speaks to that. When you find a supportive people in that environment, they have funding, they have potential resources, space, things like that. So it seems like you really incubated in that environment. And so
mhm.
um and now this event that we do see on screen is at Yale, correct?
Yeah, so it's in partnership with the Yale Graduate and Professional Student Senate. Shout out to Elisha, our team member, who is also a Yale student. And there's a couple of other, so the Yale Black Alumni, sorry, the local Black Alumni Association has been supportive as well as the Black Graduate Network, right? And so, yeah, so we are utilizing Yale spaces as well as New Haven spaces for the events. Yeah. So it's meant to really kind of, create space for intersection between the university and the community, which is a thing that Yale purports to be invested in. So, this is an opportunity to do that.
There's so many areas and I know our time is short. So one thing that you spoke about before that I do want to touch upon is you mentioned the kind of different perspective that people, let's say from the continent, Nigerian, I would say people in, the West Indies coming to places like Canada from other places. The idea that people may have it can be a lot very different, and especially in terms of like you speak of the liberation, the struggle, and so forth. It's almost like it's supposed to be the easy life of there. What are you doing? You just need to work, and depending on your experience, you can come over and really find, like you mentioned, Ivan Van Sertima. There are people who did such great work in terms of our upliftment, and so there's you personify really the connection. And so I wonder with regards to NoirFest, like how do you um how do you bring these two perspectives together? You mentioned the religion. I've got a lot of people in my life that I love a lot. They get a lot from religion. I'm not one of those people, but I understand that we're deeply spiritual people. It's the problematic side for me, I will just say, is when they've created a white Jesus and really have our minds messed up. But it doesn't take away from our deeply spiritual um power and roots. So I wonder how you consolidate these different sides coming to America from Nigeria, and then how this plays out in this work. For example, lastly, I do want to mention Ubuntu, which we mentioned earlier. The This declaration. So, firstly, yeah, how did this come together for yourself and in this festival? And yeah, what does it mean
Mm.
for Pan-Africanism?
I said to Warrington Hudlin the other day that the DNA of this work is Black integration. Um, and because I have lived in so many contexts and kind of embodied so many different identities culturally and ethnically, um, I have always kind of seen myself as the little Yoruba girl from Surulere, Lagos, right? I was born in, a poor part of Lagos. My mother wouldn't be happy for me saying that, but it's like the inner city or whatever. It was Surulere is really special. There's a lot of people that well-known people that come from there. Um, but that is like the identity, the core identity for me, and that's the core identity I'm always seeking to get back to, is like my Yoruba girl who, played around with my grandmothers and my relatives. But from that time, I have moved through so many different identities and contexts. And I think just being a listener, just being the kind of person that people feel like they can bring their problems to has been all my life. And so I've found myself being the person that everybody complained to about the other Black ethnicity, right?
Mm.
And so the African Americans would complain to me about the Africans would complain, and I don't know. I guess I just try to be kind and loving to everybody. I was bullied as a kid, like when you're migrating, you got, they call me big lips, and I had all these things, right? I just was raised to be kind, and everybody would have sort of interactions with the other Black ethnicity that would make them maybe rub them in a particular way, and they would complain about it. And I mean, I think this is something I really observed when I was at Yale, is that I had to kind of be the interlocutor to be like, well, that they experience life this way, right? That this is what, so I think there's often this whole conversation about diaspora wars, which to me is like so ridiculous and so ugly. And, I want us to move from the oppression Olympics to the liberation Olympics, right? But in the so-called diaspora wars, it's like this people need to understand over here that the empire is actively erasing history education on the African continent, right? They go very, very far out of their way to make sure that Black Africans do not know their history and do not know African American history, right? So when you have Africans coming over here and being disrespectful to, Black Americans, are not understanding the sacrifice, the legacy, etc., they just don't know. They have literally no freaking clue. I was just fortunate to have a mother who worked in a library, and parents who were, for whatever reason, they cared about, they're compassionate people, they cared about social justice. And so 90% of the African immigrants, just like most of the immigrants you're going to meet, they were not cultivated in the knowledge of like the Black American experience. It is not beneficial to the empire for everybody to know what they've been doing to Black folks over here, right? The other thing that I always try to make sure people know is that the enemy is one. We have collectively, we have one enemy, right? And I say that in reference, to the establishment, to the empire, to the apparatus that profits from our suffering and is designed to profit from our suffering and profit from extracting from us. That is our collective enemy. And that is the same enemy that makes money when a Black man is imprisoned, in Brooklyn for like a half an ounce of weed that was planted on him by an NYPD officer. It's the same apparatus that profits when Ken Saro-Wiwa, a Nigerian activist, is murdered for, protesting, the theft of our resources. These are all the same corporations that, the connections are all, it's the same thing, And so I just think if Black people can understand from that place, like they have, intentionally erased you from each other's psyche, right? So that you don't know what the Black folks over there are doing or look like or, act like. They're showing you the images of poverty while they're flying over there to buy up the land and try to get the minerals. You see this whole gold rush thing. I saw this post about, I'm trying to remember where I saw it today, about somebody talking about this woman that flew to Nigeria, and half the plane was white people. And she's like, what are all these white people going to Nigeria for? I could talk about this forever. Like, they want us, as much as possible, by any means necessary, to not understand, not appreciate, not get each other. Any type of, warfare that they concede between Black men and Black women, Africans, Caribbeans, Black, like, if we can understand that is what we are up against, then, it won't be able to harm us. And to actually answer your question 10 minutes later about NoirFest, how it shows up in NoirFest is in the curation of the content, right? Mm-hmm. Because I inhabit this intersectional space, I am naturally drawn to aesthetics and messages and languages that amplify all Black experiences globally, right? So I'm naturally pulling. So one of the things I'm really excited about is our lineup being like Kunle is Nigerian, Warrington Hudlin, we will be honoring at the Harvard Yale Media Mixer, is, he represents like such a force in Black America media and storytelling. And then Tshola Maseko, who's from South Africa and who represents like the avant-garde of what art making is that's happening in South Africa, right? And we have a number of other people that we're adding to the schedule, but naturally, I'm gonna gravitate towards everything that is Black and liberatory, no matter where it comes from. If it has a vibe of loving Black folk, I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna try to show it to as many people as I can. And so
I love that. That's what we are all about.
Yes.
Yo, get that sprinter rolling. IV Produce, come pick me up. Otherwise, we started the show. I was like, I'm glad I'm not in America, but because you got some Canada people. But like now, I want to get to America.
Just for look at it.
I love what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. It's
right.
I'll be there virtually.
That part, G.
Right. Right.
Yes, we're gonna live stream.
The work that you're talking about, and I love the approach, because being in Canada, for example, we have two languages. We have French, we have English. And we are going through in this, big country, but it's just one nation. But we have Quebec, where French people who may have come through Haiti, and it's taken so much work and intentional recognition to realize, to come to the point where we need to celebrate what Haiti has done, celebrate. But it's harder because, being in Toronto and in such a individualistic, self-centered world that they built here, but you're hitting it on the head where we need to be able to listen to the different stories and understand that that's us there, even in another language, even in another geographic location. So yeah, even on that, I'm looking at doing a project where we'll connect with the Montreal and Toronto and tell Black stories, and go from there. So that's amazing in terms of the curation, the people with the stories, and then the quality that you're talking about. That's amazing. Now I
Yeah, I
understand
appreciate
you're
that. Just let me
sorry.
go ahead, say that again.
Oh, no, no, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure to let people know that if you want to submit something, there are two links on the NoirFest website. So you go to noirfest.co. On the top menu, if you hover over NoirFest Harvard Yale, it'll bring a drop down and there'll be like a Google form for you to submit any type of art. And then if you scroll down, we have a film freeway that there's like a submit your work button over like Kune's image, right? So we're our ethos is about visually stunning, aspirational films centered on believable Black heroes. Um, what we are curating for the entirety of the festival is any art form that shares, that energy of liberation, right? We'll have a visual art exhibit up at the Afro American Cultural Center for the weekend, but we want to basically be able to plug in different art forms throughout the weekend however we can. So we just invite you to submit anything that you're working on that you want to kind of share with this community. And yeah, as soon as
I
possible.
will be taking you up on that now and spreading the word. I think for me personally, I think that's a big part of showing love is sharing. And so if you could let the people know where they can find you, um, and find more information, the socials, the websites, all of it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, noirfest.co, NOIRFEST.co for NoirFest. We're part of an ecosystem. So noirlabs.org is like the umbrella for the ecosystem, or that's the name of the ecosystem. Noir Press, I'm very proud of. Y'all were talking it up earlier. I really appreciate that. It is such a labor of passion for liberation, but it is essential. So we're inviting folks to write for us. There is a join, the editorial board link. We're planning to have some writer circles. We have a partnership with a really huge media platform that is emerging on the African continent. There's a few platforms that we're in partnership with. And so if you want to write with us, come in community, we'll have a writing circle. You can publish on Noir Press and potentially on some of these other platforms that we are partnered with. And then Portal X, that space, which is like, the crown jewel of the ecosystem. Really, really excited. It's been a lot of work, and there's a lot more to be done. But if you go to portalx.space, you will be able to, for now, you can search events and opportunities. We're curating them according to our keywords like Afrofuturism, like, the arts, like tech, like AI, whatever. And so we want your feedback from that too. So hopefully there's a feedback button on there. I asked the team to add it, but we want you to basically try out finding events in your city. We want you to try out finding opportunities. We want you to try out listing opportunities. So if you're hosting an event, especially if you're hosting anything in that November 17th to the 23rd window, we would love for you to upload it to Portal X. Use the keywords Creative Valley so that we can find that, and then we will create a calendar for everything that's happening that's related to these themes from our community around the world.
When you say Creative Valley, explain what do you mean? Keyword?
So Creative Valley, so NoirFest is happening on the weekend. Creative Valley is basically an activation of New Haven for the week leading up to NoirFest, right? So New Haven is in this transition into becoming something like a Silicon Valley for the arts. There's a lot of things that most people don't know about New Haven. Most people don't know, all they know is that maybe Yale is here, right? But New Haven is almost equidistant between New York and Boston.
Mhm.
There's a lot of universities here besides from Yale. It's very green. I used to take barefoot walks. It's too cold now, but I would take barefoot walks in my neighborhood. I mean, we're kind of in the suburbs, but New Haven is very clean compared to the city. I love New York. Brooklyn is forever, but I like it here for now. Um, and so there is like a creative renaissance that's been happening here. And so our goal with the projects we've been doing at Nor Labs, whether that's New World Haven, which is a futuristic narrative about Black liberation from a teenage perspective, um, and this Creative Valley Week, we're basically doing our part to aggregate the creative and innovative communities here, especially where Black and Brown folks are concerned. You'll notice that what happens when you have a university like Yale that kind of runs things, Black and Brown people get, we slip through the cracks and our stories aren't told and nobody sees our work. And so what that allows is for them to sort of own the narrative and say, look what we did, right? But our goal here is to make sure that as this place becomes this really special innovation hub, that it is known that Black folks were a central part of that, of making that reality, and just, really highlighting all the Black folks that have been, and Brown folks who've been doing great work here, like locally, historically. So that Creative Valley Week is really meant to sort of like be a container for everything that New Haven is doing with creativity and innovation in that week. And so we're asking our community beyond New Haven to populate the calendar with their events. And so we can have up on the site, we can have a list for the different cities like New Haven, New York, wherever else people might be, Toronto, so that we know
Blah, blah,
like
blah,
what folks
blah.
are doing.
I mean, I'm over
I'm
here
expected to
like,
do that when Toronto's mentioned. Blah blah blah.
I'm
Yeah,
over
well
here
that's
like, we
yeah,
should
go ahead.
really pull up. Here's the thing. I have so much to say, but I know she has to go. We
Yeah.
should literally be thinking about recording live and pulling up doing a show. Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Ah,
Let's figure it out.
seriously. We should. We should. And if like seriously, Ivy, come on. Like just bring the fam.
Hey, I'm thinking about it already.
For
I'm looking
real.
up
Like,
I'm looking up Airbnbs and everything.
like
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of like,
seriously.
it's gonna be a lot of groupies. But I welcome it. I welcome
It's
we
gonna be a
can
lot
figure
of,
it
what'd you
out.
say?
I said it's gonna be a lot of group Airbnbs. It's
Oh,
a big
okay.
No,
Okay.
weekend, right?
November
So
20th to
Yeah.
November
23rd.
20th through the 23rd. Yeah. So the thing to note that you might have seen on the site is that, there's like 50,000 people that come through New Haven that weekend for the Harvard
Oh.
Yale game, right? So we're doing it in that context because, one, obviously it's a big stage for people to see what's happening in New Haven. Um, but it's also like there's this rivalry between these two, like, fancy
For
Ivy League
sure.
universities.
Yeah.
Um, and and Black folks and Brown folks get lost in the shuffle of that. Like there's a lot of poverty in New Haven. It's pretty freaking ridiculous. And ICE just picked up like
Mm.
7 people at a car wash today.
A car
Um,
wash. Dang.
I
It's
just,
just,
I
yeah.
want to, I don't know if my belief system allows me to like say the things I want to say about the people and what they're doing, but I just want to say that Black folks, we have a lot of spiritual power, and when we come into agreement about what needs to happen to certain people, it
Mm.
happens. I just want to encourage us to come into
To
agreement on the
to
things that need
keep
to
that
happen to certain
eye.
people.
Oh man.
Keep
Yeah, I
that
mean, but there's a lot of poverty in New Haven. You go down, the downtown, the Green is like, it's supposed to be like the crown jewel of the city, but it's always like so many unhoused people that are basically living on the green of the city. And I don't know enough about the politics to know like how much of an effort is being made, but I have a thing about homelessness, and I just think that it's a really easy problem to solve if you really want to solve it. Um, so I say all that to say, like, you have this wealth and this prestige and this elitism and whatnot, um, that exists because it is able to kind of extract from Black and Brown people and profit from our creativity, from our talents. Um, and so this is just a context in which we're going to say, yeah, no, Blackness is glorious and Blackness is everything, and come through, let all the Negroes pull up and show our creativity. And I think it's important, especially in this time in history, to really remember as Black and Brown people, like, that our creativity is our currency, right?
yeah,
Like our stories,
that
our
part.
art forms,
Yep.
Like they can't live without us, period, but literally without our art, without our
For
imagery,
real.
without our music, it's just this nothing is real beyond that. Um so yeah, we just want to have a really good time with really, high vibrational people who appreciate quality art. And I didn't say much about Portal X. The whole purpose of us hosting this is really to launch version 1 of Portal X, and prayers up by that weekend, you should be able to match with people on the platform that share your interests and goals, right? We're
Oh,
getting, so we want
wow.
people to sign up for the beta now so you could be among the first to like test out the features. If you go to portalx.space and hit, I think you can just do /beta, but the beta is in the menu anyway. And yeah, the goal is to get as many people as we can onto the platform so that that weekend we can start helping you like find your people, right? Like matching you with people who would be really good collaborators for you, who might be good like accountability buddies on your particular habit or thing that you're trying to like achieve. Maybe people who need to buy what you have to offer, who need the service that you offer, or who need the knowledge that you are, that you are an expert on, or whatever, right? So when we talk about helping you find your people, it's about cultivating more meaningful, authentic relationships that can sustain us. We're a really lonely generation and don't have to be like that.
Yeah,
Um, Cultivating those types of relationships, and also like normalize paying your friends. Let's normalize doing business with each other. Let's
for
normalize
real.
like knowing our value and exchanging our value. And even if we have to use Ubuntu, if we have to do barter, I very much believe in barter. I've gained a lot from barter. One of the features on Portal X and on the roadmap is some form of currency. So we'll be talking about that. But we really want this currency to be sort of like backed in that barter economy, that idea of Ubuntu, that we exchange, that everything, we all have value, we all have something to offer to the community. And how do we now track that and create like a blockchain model that supports that? And so a lot of interesting things happening. But yeah, get your tickets to NoirFest.
Indeed.
Yes.
For
Get
There are
those
real.
free
tickets.
tickets. There are, there's a lot of options for you to connect and submit your work pretty please, and let your people know, bring your people through.
Yes.
Who do you want to enjoy this with? Who do you want to have in the room? Who are the filmmakers, artists that need to be in the room, need to be seen? Yeah, bring your people.
Yes, absolutely. It's done. I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm a, I'm a finagle my way. I don't know how. I'm like, I'm gonna be panhandling. Like, a girl got to get to New
We'll
Haven.
talk about it. Let's talk about how we can make it happen.
For
We'll chat about
real. Like it's amazing. We are so again, I have so many other additional questions. Perhaps we'll have you come back if time permits a little bit before so we can dedicate some more time. But
it.
absolutely stellar. Congratulations on being you.
Thank you.
Nothing you've done, just being you. That man, this is what we do on Talk Show on Point. We
Yes,
bring the
yes.
real. We bring
Yes,
the
yes.
real. This was beautiful. Thank
It
you. Thank you.
was. It
Thank
really
you.
was. I'm
And real,
So much.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm grateful for you to come in. I've actually shared the link a couple of times to the film the NoirFest. A good friend of mine, he likes to dabble in filmmaking. He's not really taking it serious, but he's got really good skill with cameras. And his girlfriend, no, his wife, my bad. My sister-in-law is actually she likes to write, and she's been filming for a very long time in terms of like they'll make little we got like videos on Facebook from like 15 years ago of like Frankenstein and stuff like that. And so we all have like really good like camera gear and stuff like that, but we don't really like take it seriously. But like I think that he actually is a little bit more serious into it than I am. But nevertheless, I say a lot to say just to say that I shared the link out and I will there's a high chance that I may make an appearance.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you in Canada as well? Where will you be coming
I'm
from?
actually in Maryland.
Oh, all right. All you gotta do is get on the
Yeah.
train or get on the highway.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We probably be up
Yes.
there.
Please,
New
please
Haven's
come
not that
through.
far
If you
away.
can,
Yeah,
it's gonna be magical. It's
for
gonna be
sure.
magical. We're excited.
Yeah.
And it's really is such a great fit. In terms of the technology, what you're building, we talk about
Yeah,
looking for technology like
for
that. So we
sure.
look forward to engaging in terms of as creatives. You have a space for that. Um, and we didn't get to the declaration. So hopefully you'll come back. The Ubuntu declaration is the huge thing that
Right.
had us thinking, oh, like,
Mhm.
uh, we're in this world of AI. Crazy stuff is happening. Even today, waking up to, oh, this company's putting out AI slop, like thousands of podcasts. Like we're on a podcast, and they're basically looking at the world or music, hip hop. Like companies are churning out these, and we have to think about how do we value our culture? How do we value our engagement? And unlike in the past, we need to really understand it's for us to define um, the value and how we see ourselves.
Right.
And
The
so we
projection, for
really need
sure.
to come together. We need to get our heads right. There's so much, there's research, there's lineage, even that work has been conveyed in films as you're showing, and books and so forth. So really, we have a wealth, and you really reflect that. So thank you so much for sharing what you're doing and being you. Yes, as Rashawn is. We usually have our what we're grateful for. I'm gonna say I'm grateful for the work you're doing and look
Oh,
forward
for
to,
sure.
you know.
For sure.
I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for all of us who are finding a way in the midst of all the madness to make magic happen, to make love happen, to make community happen. I'm grateful for, and that is what Ubuntu is about. And yeah, the declaration is just an opportunity for us to like start to codify, these laws of Ubuntu. And yeah, I'm grateful for where I see Ubuntu in existence in the existing community. So thank y'all.
I gotta
Very, very
ask,
big work. And
do
before
you
you
use Ubuntu?
hmm? What's that,
I asked her,
Ivy?
I asked her if do you use Ubuntu, the software,
Oh, the software?
operating
I
system?
used to. It's been a long time. Now,
Yeah.
when I first got, my undergrad was computer science. So I've coded in everything from, yeah, from C to COBOL. But
COBOL.
I
Oh
don't use it
man.
currently. I learned how to code in COBOL. Yeah, it was like my
Oh
senior year in
man.
college.
That's a skill right there.
I don't remember nothing. It was like typing. Like,
Yeah.
it was
You
interesting.
don't need to remember nothing. Nowadays, you got AI to do whatever you forget. You could just be
Well,
like, remind me, and it'll just you
AI
know
is
enough,
not the
at least
best
the
at
basics to just
COBOL.
Right.
Yeah.
but I wanted to what are the social what social media? You're on IG,
Oh,
right?
social media. Yes. So we're on IG, NoirPress __ on Instagram. I think NoirPress and NoirFest are tagged in each other's profiles. So the
Great.
thing is, we have two NoirFest accounts because we got kicked out of the original, got locked out of the original, and then we had to get a second one. And now we got locked out of the second one, and we're back to the original one. So NoirFest
Oh,
Co. NoirFest Co. is the one that is active on Instagram. And if you search us up on LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn, Noir Press, and on Twitter, Noir Press. We're not really active on Twitter, but I mean, we might
good.
retweet a lot
Yeah,
of
boo on Twitter.
conspiracies.
What is it on Twitter? What is it on X?
Oh,
It's
come
we
on,
have a Noir
Ivy.
Press. I was gonna say we might just you'll see us retweeting some conspiracies from time to time, but
Hey, I like it.
it's Noir Press probably like one underscore or two.
Yep, I
The
got
thing you're
you.
gonna look for is our icon is like the black and white crown,
I'm already in
and it's
there.
Noir Press one word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want you to next time that we invite you be like, they don't let me go when I
I know.
need to get out of here. So thank
Yeah.
you
For
so
sure.
much.
For
Thank you.
Enough
sure.
respects and blessings, and we look forward to next time. And hopefully, yeah, we'll at least be represented in one way or another at Noir Fest.
That sounds amazing. Thank y'all so much. Stay blessed.
Yes. You too.